people have seen the conspiracies about Antifa has infiltrated the Capitol? It was not good Trump-supporting conservatives that actually instigated the violence. Oh no. The breach was an Antifa. Antifa did it. BLM did it. How many of you have seen these conspiracies so far? Okay. Here, I'll give you an example of one of them. And it's right here. So this is a post. I do not know who this person is, but it was reposted by one of my family members, and this is the saddening part. Not Patriots, Antifa. By taking these pictures of these people, which just look like generic bearded white men, juxtaposing it to these pictures here, and showing that the Google image search found them at phillyantifa.org. Also, thank you very much for sponsoring the channel, Issa B. But this was floating around, and of course they're right next to this guy, who we're going to get into in a second. But this guy is the QAnon Shaman. So, before we get into these two here, these two specimens, let's go ahead and grab this guy, QAnon Shaman. And I'm not going to be doing the debunk here. No. I have a special guest doing the debunk here. But by special guest, I mean somebody who's already done the debunk. And I'm just going to be giving you the little bit of investigation journalism that we already found from him. So this is from my friend, Wolf the Red. Now, for those of you who don't know Wolf, he's a friend of mine in Oceans. And he's a good guy. And if there's one thing he's really good at, it's doing these long investigative journalist posts on Twitter debunking shit like this. We haven't done a good old school debunk for a while, but it's not going to be me doing it. It's going to be Wolf. So let's go ahead and relay. I've already gotten his permission. So let's go ahead and relay all this stuff from Wolf. Well, it's time to talk about this fool, I suppose. Trump-supporting QAnon fanatic Jake Angeli was one of those domestic terrorists who stormed the Capitol on Wednesday. He was on my radar because of the Norse imagery poorly tattooed on him, but he's really a Christian. You read that right. Dude's a Yahweh-fearing man who loves to share boomer Christian memes. Not something Norse heathens tend to do, and not something that you usually see from your average everyday Antifa. Our gods are Odin, Thor, Freya, Hel, Tyr, etc. Gods who are absolutely disgusted with the actions of Jake here. So let's go ahead and look at the images here. Some stuff that Jake has posted. You will receive blessing in the next 1 hour if you share and type amen. How many of you have seen this shit? This incredibly cringe, like, you know those posts where you have... it's like God and the devil talking, and God goes, my children will repost. Woo. And then you look, it shows the devil. My children will ignore. Oh, whoa. How many of you have seen that shit? Like, honestly. It's... I don't want to sit here and just go, oh my God, the boomer is cringe. Because I know people who are legitimately baby boomers and are not like that. Who actually have working brain cells. But, and I know eventually I'm gonna get ratioed by the younger generation too. It's a thing that's gonna happen. But what else do we have here? What other things do we have? Late in the midnight hour, God's going to turn it around. It's gonna work out in your favor if you claim this and say amen and share. And of course, Jake says amen and shares. If you can feel... God, that's gory! If you can feel the love of God throbbing in your heart, when you see this, type amen and share. And of course, we got the amen and share. They're all guilt shares. You're right. Avion, you are 100% right. These are all guilt shares. Hey, I didn't even realize this was here. I didn't know that this particular meme was here. I hadn't clicked on any of the images. Oh my God. Okay, so I don't know why I gave it as an example. Here it is. Satan. My children will ignore you. Jesus. My children will type amen and share. He literally types amen and share. It's all chain letters, yes. Continuing on with Wolf's little bit here. He's got a discount Viking He's just a discount Viking LARPer who was on record stating he dressed this way to stand out and get attention in crowds, no matter where he is. I promise you, he is eating this up. Now to move on to who he really is and who he supports. And then, of course, we have the steal his look meme. The great meme. This fool is deep in the QAnon cult. He shows up to Trump rallies and his very awful LARPing outfit and calls for schools to be open and shouts about how COVID-19 is a hoax. Clearly not the brightest crown in the box. I would say that he's not the sharpest tool in the tool shed, but I've been basically living out of Home Depot for the last few weeks. So maybe my analogies are colored by my trauma. I see also we have a $2 super chat from Wolf the Red with an hello. Wolf is in the chat. Can everybody give a hi to Wolf? We're literally piggybacking off of his work. So let's definitely give a hi to Wolf here. Okay. So, QAnon Shaman Jake Angeli is back in the news. He was spotted in his protest costume after having broken into Capitol Hill today in Washington, D.C. I last spoke with him during his stakeout of the Maricopa Elections Office in Phoenix, Arizona on November 5th, 2020. Many people have read allegations that he's a member of Antifa or some sort of false flag operative. This is false. Jake is a longtime and ardent Donald Trump supporter, made on assignment for Bloomberg. And then, of course, Q sent me! Q sent me! Q at Trump, Jake and Jelly walked the lines of people in Veterans Memorial Coliseum, waiting to see Trump on February 20th. He brings this cringy-ass costume everywhere, but I can't talk because I would love to walk around in a Suris Shaman outfit. So, or thrall ceremonial garb, whatever you want to call it. So maybe I should not be judging him too harshly solely on his looks, but his really bad tattoos, that's one thing. Continuing with Wolf the Red. Probably the biggest form of irony is that he has been seen many times over the summer and fall counter-protesting against BLM and calling them domestic terrorists, saying they should be arrested for being against police and other protest activities. And of course, we've got his sharing here. If you've done any of the following, attacked federal officers, tried to burn down a courthouse, threatened to shoot innocent people, mob cars and rip people from behind the wheel, burn down businesses, kill cops, loot stores, you're not a protester, you are a domestic terrorist and should be arrested. I love the cringy Turning Point USA memes because half that shit happened at the Capitol siege. We have a dead cop. Just, Asmodeus has it right in the chat, when you become more blunt than your hammer. Continuing on. If you needed any further proof that the weirdo isn't some left-wing agent, here he is with Rudy Giuliani, very happy to shake the snake's hand. Wish he had worn the makeup, though. So, here. This is one of those, like, is this you moments? I'm sorry. I could not get within 10 feet of this idiot without spitting on his boots. But, you know, this guy has no problem with that. His Facebook was taken down before I could get some screenshots, but he is a self-proclaimed faith healer shaman and used a bunch of nonsense words that sounded more like New Age Christian than old school heathen. But hey, he only charges $33.33 an hour, so that's a steal. I am an shamanic practitioner and energetic healer. I have been on the shamanic path for over a decade and have numerous different capabilities and gifts at my disposal. Most shamanic practitioners do, Jake and Jelly. Punctuation. It's the difference between punctuation and capitalization. It's the difference between helping your Uncle Jack off a horse and your Uncle Jack off a horse. All for the low, low price of $33 an hour. To wrap this up, he's not a Norse pagan. He's not Antifa. He's not a Viking. He's an idiot who dresses up in weird clothes to get attention, and unfortunately, he has some very awful tattoos tied to my religion. I would be happy to scrape them off of him, given the chance. And of course, we have this great image here. Sorry if that joke was a bit cheesy for all of you. One last bit. To all the Patriots replying to this, still trying to say that he's left-wing and Antifa, despite all the evidence I just provided, here's his own Twitter, his own words. He's as far right as they come. And let's go ahead and take a look at this Twitter. Spiritual and political consultant, shamanic practitioner, author, energetic healer, ordained minister, seeker of truth, and servant of God. And of course his retweets. America First. Our lovely dog whistles. Breitbart News. Like, no. No. This is not your Antifa. I'm sorry. But there's more people! It's not just that! I didn't open with alpha male because alpha males don't open anything but their gaping assholes in prison. Sorry. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this. So, I pointed out these dudes here, right? Let's go ahead and do a quick fact check on that. Or rather, look at a fact check here. Is the man photographed storming the United States Capitol in fur and horns an Antifa activist? Well, we already know that he's not. We already did that. So let's look at the other ones. From Reuters. Screenshots have been shared on social media that falsely claim and show proof that a man was photographed inside the Capitol building following a pro-Trump rally who is part of Antifa. Let's see here. Are the posts the same ones that I'm thinking of? From the Patriot Party. Are the ones that stormed the Capitol building members of BLM and Antifa? The Patriots are peaceful! This content isn't available right now. Oh! Hashtag stop the steal. Oh boy, those are my favorite factual websites to get information from. The Philly Antifa website does have a page featuring an image of a bearded man who shares certain characteristics with the person seen in the Capitol building. However, this page does not describe this man as an Antifa supporter. Instead, it says this image shows an individual belonging to an entirely different group that Philly Antifa opposes. Oh boy! Who would have thought? Who would have thought that by providing the link to the website that you're trying to use in your dumb shit conspiracy theory, you might actually get outed as a dumb shit conspiracy theorist? What a concept! Now, while they haven't identified specifically the person pictured in the Capitol building, a comparison of tattoos on the right hands of both people would indicate that they are not the same person. Compare the image from the Antifa site here with the AFP image here. Let's see. Yeah, no. Those are not the same tattoos. The tattoo where the hand is a completely different one. These are not the same people. You just grabbed generic frat boy bearded white man and tried to say they all looked the same. You racist motherfuckers. Reuters has already identified a man wearing a hat and fur horns, as well as painted face. He's the Qanon Shaman. The image hosted in the Philly Antifa website does not prove that a man pictured inside the Capitol building was a member of Antifa. This article was produced by the Reuters fact-check team. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Point is, stop posting your cringe-ass, they weren't patriots, they were Antifa memes on Facebook. You dumb-ass people. I'm gonna be the super insulting person here. I'm gonna have to be. Because it's not difficult. It's not difficult to take an image and do a reverse image search and then see if there might be some news articles covering that. It's not hard to do a reverse image search. And when you do, you will find the fact check websites that have already been doing this shit because it's their job. But you decided, whoever you may be, reposting this, redoing this, retweeting this, that you would rather go for something convenient but wrong versus something that requires you to take some time but leads you to be correct. At the end of the day, this is what skepticism is for. This is what being a skeptic is about. It's about not falling for this conspiratorial bullshit, because the first thing a skeptic should ask in any situation is, why is that the case? Why is that true? How is that true? Or even, is that true? Please, do not fall for bullshit. Please don't. It takes some time. It really does. To figure out if something is true or not. But it is so much more worth it. Because you'll have that truth in your back pocket every time. Whenever you need it. But when you go for the easy route, when you ignore that, we'll just call it journalistic integrity, you just make a fool of yourself. And you end up hurting other people, because this type of misinformation is the type of stuff that led to the Capitol being sieged in the first place. With that said, if you haven't hit the like button already, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. If you are watching this video and this is the first time on the channel, then hi, how's it going? Let me know in the comment section below. If you are watching on stream, well, I've already said hello to you. Hi. But that said, please go ahead and check the description below. You'll find links to my Patreon and everything there if you want to support the channel and what I do. I generally try to stream at 1 p.m. Most days of the week, 1 p.m. Eastern, that is. So if you want to come out and hang out then, that is the best time to do so. If you would like to super chat or donate or do anything, I do read those in between covering different topics on the videos. So if you want to do that, then I welcome it. I like being able to eat food. Being able to survive in America.net is great. So that all said, thank you all for watching, and we're going to move on to the next thing.